Greetings, denizens of the internets. Pull up with a gink of beer and relax, for this is not me ranting. I just thought Sizzle shit talking didn't sound as cool. But yeah, pretty much it's just me talking shit. So let's go to the comments. And oh yeah, I should always remember to tell you to like and subscribe all down the bottom or to the side or wherever it is. Thanks, that'd be awesome. So I don't know if this will show me comments of everyone, because I know it will show me YouTube and I know it will show me one of the groups. I haven't tested it on the other two. So if you're writing a comment right now and I'm not seeing it, I apologize. Okay, so pretty much what this is about is I need some practice. I need to lower my voice because I'm in a hospital. Yes, that's right, I'm in a hospital. So I should probably lower my voice a little bit. I am needing to practice going on lives and chatting and just talking shit and so forth. And fuck, sorry, that's just for Duncan. He asked me to say that. And yeah, so basically it's to get me used to doing these. So I'm going to try to do these every week. I will try to actually talk about something, not just talk about the fact that I'm talking about. And yeah, so today I thought my topic I'd start off these shows. They're not rants. They're not me being angry. That was a ruse. It's actually me just talking shit about the comics that I know. Not the comic industry, because I know very little about the comic industry currently. I know more about the Australian indie comic community than I know about the mainstream comics at the moment, because I haven't collected for, I don't know, God, 6 years, I think. And I only collected for a year back then. And before that, it was a good 14, 15 years since I collected. So I mostly just know stuff from the 80s and 90s. And yeah. Rant. I'll see what I can do, Spedsy. But yeah, so I thought I'd start with, from back in the 90s, I had 3 characters, which I guess, since I haven't really read much since then, they're still my favorite characters. So these 3 guys, my 3 favorite characters. We've got Jean Jones, or Martian Manhunter. We've got Eric, or Magnus, or I can't remember all his names, to be honest, but most people know as Magneto. And we've got Dr. Manhattan, and I forget his real name. So some fan I am of his. So hello, Kerry. So yeah, so we'll start with Martian Manhunter. Big fan of his. He kind of reminds me. I mean, he's. I love his nickname, the Swiss Army knife of superheroes, because he has so many damn powers, so many powers. Hey, Facebook user. Hello, original butt licker. And yeah, so if you watch Star Trek, they've got, in the original series, they've got Spock to do the whole someone trying to understand how humans work and all that sort of jazz. And then in Next Generation, they've got Data, who's the same sort of character to analyze, you know what I mean? So Martian Manhunter is very much like that. He's from Mars. He doesn't understand how humans work. So when a good writer comes along, they can write a really good story that's not just superheroes beating people up. It's actually a good analysis of the human condition, which is cool when comics do that, when they write something a little bit more serious or a little bit deeper. So that's, I think, why I like Martian Manhunter. Another reason I'm a fan, as you can see from the picture, I am in the wrong thing. as you can see from the picture, I've picked JLU, I think it was called, Justice League Unlimited, cartoon version of him. That would have to be my favorite version of him. I should have put up the thing, but I probably would have got a copyright infringement if I played it. So yeah. But there's a scene in Justice League Unlimited where he's gone away. Got a wife. Like, he's been away for, I think, a whole season, and he returns at a major point in the story, and he kicks butt. And it's just hey, Peter Lane. Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, you got to register. That's all it is. You've got to register with StreamYard, so it gives permission for StreamYard to see your name. Facebook has a lot of rules about external software seeing your name. And yes, I will get around to reading Berserk. I promise. And I get around to reading a lot of modern comics. I have switched. I recently sold my entire collection of singles, and I just kept my Australian indies. And I've decided to the collector bug won't go away, which is a bit of a shame because it would be nice to have money for once. But yeah, so I used some of the money from that sale to buy a whole bunch of omnibuses. And I'm probably going to continue buying them, just not at the rate I bought them recently, to get to read stories I haven't read before. Like with my collection of X-Men, for example, I didn't have the entire Mutant Massacre. I was missing a lot of issues. So that's one that's on my list, to get the Mutant Massacre omnibus. And et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All the other stories I want to get, I'll get modern stuff. One of the ones I ordered was Invincible, volumes 1 through 12, because I've just heard too many good things to doubt that I won't like it. I do remember reading it. I don't know why, because I don't have any copies of it. So maybe I read someone else's copy. But I really liked it. I remember liking what I read. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to love this. So I'm glad I got that. Anyway, my other favorite character is Magneto. There's probably times there he's my most favorite of the three. And I like his backstory. It makes no sense anymore because it's been a few decades since he was invented. So he would be very, very old now if he was a Holocaust survivor, especially considering the comics I read. He escaped the Holocaust as a grown man, not as a child, as a grown man. So he would be very old right now. I mean, but there's probably heaps of comics out there that have retro, whatever they call it. And he was a kid when I don't know, I haven't read them. And but I just love his backstory. I love the fact that he's a villain, but you can kind of understand why he's a villain, going by his background and everything. But it's also a little ironic that he's kind of acting like Hitler in the way he's like the whole mutants are the supreme race and kill all the humans, all that sort of jazz. So it's a little ironic that the crap that he went through, he's kind of turning into the guy who calls that crap. And I find that really interesting. And when it's well written, when it's well written, it's great to read Magneto. Martian Manhunter I've already done. Dr. Manhattan. Well, Dr. Manhattan, I don't know why I like him so much. It's just I like the whole getting these ridiculous powers, and the whole idea that he's slowly, over the years, losing his humanity, which is really scary, considering his powers. He's sort of losing his ability to tell right from wrong. So that's kind of cool. I don't know how they handle that after Watchmen. I haven't read any of the post-Watchmen stuff about him, so I can't comment. I know he has something to do with the New 52 or something. I don't know. I might be getting that confused as well. I don't know. Like I said I don't know where I wrote it. I wrote it somewhere. Was it on Facebook or YouTube or somewhere? That I mostly just know 80s and 90s comics. So anything that's happened since then, I need to catch up on, which I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to catch up on them. I'm going to try to catch up on all the Australian indie that I have. And so I can talk about both. It won't just be about 80s and 90s comics that I already know. Well, we'll try. I've got to find the time to read these other things. So, yeah, apart from telling me to read Berserk and telling me silly names, has anyone got any questions? Anyone got any topics they want me to discuss or talk about, or I don't know, my thoughts on from the 80s, especially if it's from the 80s and 90s, and well, especially if it's X-Men, because let's face it, I was an X-zombie. If it had an X on the cover, I bought it. And unless it was Wolverine, which we discussed in the test stream, that I'm not a big Wolverine fan. And I like him in the X-Men. Don't get me wrong. I think he's very cool in the X-Men. But by himself, I find him really boring. And so that'll probably piss a few people off. Although we've only got 4 people watching. So if any of you 4 are big fans of Wolverine, sorry about that. Sorry, it's very dry in here with the air conditioning. An X-Men journey I need to go on, and what's that? Is that the Power of X and House of X? Oh, Deadly Genesis. Ooh, that sounds interesting. Starting with Deadly Genesis through to Astonishing X-Men, all new X-Men, and onward to Schism. It's a 10 years of story of Cyclops goes from Professor X Jr. to Magneto Jr. Nice. Ooh, so much awesome Magneto in there too. I'm sold. Give me a list. Give me a list of omnibuses that I can get to catch up, because I'm not buying singles anymore. I just want whole stories, so I can just read the whole story and not, so I can binge. I can binge on comics. Just like all those Netflix and Disney Plus and Paramount Plus and Prime, Amazon Prime and whatever else is out there. A lot. And if you subscribe to all of them, it costs the same as that ridiculously expensive thing called Foxtel. But it's probably better. It's probably a lot more shows, and you can watch them when you want to watch them. But yeah, I like the idea of all the Magneto. That Magneto's a lot in that story. That's a real shame that I stopped collecting, and then I missed out on all that. I did buy House of X and Power of X, because I'm told that's a big turning point or big flip or whatever you want to call it in the whole X-Men universe. So that sounds really interesting. So I bought that, so I'll be able to talk about that at a later date. I'm pretty sure it's pretty old now, so there won't be any spoilers if I talk about it. Where are we? We're almost at 15 minutes. Here I was thinking I could make half an hour. I am supposed to be talking shit, so what else can I talk shit about? I know. Let's pick a random. When I was collecting, I noticed a pattern, and this probably explains the whole damn. Oh well, already bought it. Big X junkie like me will probably love it regardless if it's crap or not. And that's X, not EX. So yeah, what was I talking about? Memory like a sieve, which I think I warned somewhere in one of the comments that I can't remember things, so excuse me if I forget things. Oh yeah, there's a pattern with my collecting. I've noticed that almost every comic, like single that I bought, were Team Comics. I only really noticed the pattern after I stopped collecting, and I realized that, which probably explains why I didn't like Wolverine by himself and why I don't like Batman by himself. But put him in XMen or JLA, and I freaking loved them. Powerless. Go find Powerless. Okay. Powerless. I should probably take notes. Oh, these will be in the comments, so I'll be able to get the notes later. So, yeah, but I mean, there were some exceptions. Spawn, for some reason, I had a real attraction to. I don't know. I think it was the magic element, the going to hell. It seemed different from anything I'd read before. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not very original at all. I don't know. It was original when I bought it. So I was a big fan of Spawn. I forgave some of the bad stories because there were some good stories. So I just waited for the good ones to come again. And I collected 1 through 100, I think. So yeah. So I like that one. Although I think towards the end, like many collectors that I know, I didn't read a lot towards the end because I was collecting so many I couldn't keep up, which I find really stupid of myself. Not saying anything to the people who do it, because there are people who collect just to collect the comics, not to actually read them. And kudos to them. Each person to their own, I say. The way I want to collect is not the way someone else wants to collect, so who am I to judge? But yeah, a lot of silences on here because I think as quickly as I speak, so my thoughts don't go faster than my ability to talk. So I can't think and talk at the same time. I'm very stupid like that. So yeah, so there was Spawn. What was something else that I got that was a single character? I know there was more. I remember there being like 3 or 4 exceptions. Spawn was one of them. The Max was another one. The Max was a very cool comic. I'm going to miss the Max because I sold that in my collection. And so that's a bit sad that that's gone. I don't know if they've done omnibuses of it so I can get it back again. And I'm not going to buy the singles. So, yeah, bit of a hard spot there. But the Max, for anyone who hasn't read it, read it. It's freaking awesome. It's such a head spin. And Sam Keith, I think his name is. I'm horrible with names. I'll put that out there right now. I forget who everyone is. I put the wrong names with the wrong artists, with the wrong writers, and so forth. So forgive me now. And if you don't forgive me, well, tough. Whatever. I'm going to do it anyway. Well, we've got to 20 minutes. I reckon 20 minutes is a good time. Chew. Read Chew. What's Chew? What's Chew? Tell me more, Duncan. And it is Sam Keith. Okay, so my memory's working sometimes. Cool. Everyone seems to be on YouTube, unless the poor people on Facebook are being blocked. Choose from Image Comics. Okay, I'll look into it. No, thank you, Rob. I'm not going to chew your butt. Unless you're asking Duncan too. I can't talk for Duncan. So, I know there was someone else. There was Max, there was Spawn. I got Captain America once, but that was just because of Heroes Reborn. I wanted the whole set. I wasn't really that big a fan of him by himself. So it's all about the money for you, isn't it, Duncan? It's all about the money. So yeah, that's all the Captain America one was all about. It was like, how long did Heroes Reborn go? I think it was like 12 issues or 13 issues. So it's like a year that the main heroes of Marvel were all in another universe or inside a kid's play toy, actually, at the end of the day. No, I can't remember who the other one was. I know there's more. Actually, I've got a list. If you bear with me, I'll try to keep talking while I look. And I will... Whoops, that's not what we want. No. And if that's Duncan commenting, no, that was not porn.
Just doing the checks.
Okay. That was just a nurse checking I'm okay. So, yeah, like I said, I'm in a hospital, for those who missed that part. So I've got my list here, and I just realized Cable. For some reason, I enjoyed Cable, but I think it's because Cable rarely worked alone. So he really wasn't a single person comic. There was also Deadpool, the original Deadpool series. I have no idea what he's like now. I hear a lot of weird things about what he's like now, but I liked what they did in the old Deadpool, like the 90s Deadpool series. That was a lot of fun. It wasn't over the top. It wasn't over the top violent. It wasn't over the top silly. It was just cool. It was funny. It was just silly fun. It was silly fun. And I had Crimson as well, sorry. But that was because I was doing the whole, what did they call them? Cliffhanger comics. I wanted to collect all the Cliffhanger comics. So, and I'm glad I did, because Crimson was a really cool story. I really enjoyed reading that one. It was, I love the whole take on vampires and religion and reincarnation and all these things all whacked in together, and the creatures that God created before Adam and Eve that he rejected and what they became. And yeah, it was a really cool story. It was really well thought out. Sacrilegious, of course, but yeah, really cool. 5 more minutes, we'll get half an hour. We'll try for half an hour. And so there's that. I'm a big XMen fan. I'll say that again. Preacher. Hang on, I'll just bring your comment up. Preacher, I've heard a lot about, and I really want. It's already on my list actually, to get Preacher and what's the other one? Sandman. Are they connected? I can't remember. For some reason, they're on the list together, next to each other. So I don't know. Maybe I just found out about both of them at the same time, or remembered them both at the same time. I don't know. What's that other one? Constantine. That's like a running comic, or was it like a mini series to start with, or something, or was it like a Preacher or like a Sandman, where it had a small run to start with and then it became something else? Anyone know? Duncan knows lots of things. I'll wait for Duncan to answer. But Preacher I haven't read, no. Hang on, I'll go to my list so I can get ideas. Earth 2. I don't know if it was part of New 52 or not, because I didn't really follow that stuff. I just collected it. I think it was around the time of the New 52, so it probably was New 52. I love that series, but I'm a big Elseworlds fan. So I don't know if it was actually good or if it was just because of Elseworld. I liked the whole seeing other versions of everyone and just liked it because of that and ignored any bad writing and bad art. But Earth 2, I think they did 3 parts to it. There was Earth 2, Earth 2 Society, I think, came after that. No, sorry, Earth 2, then Earth 2 World End, and then Earth 2 Society. I think that's one where they find another planet to inhabit. I never finished that because I stopped collecting before it finished, so I don't know how that ends. Oh well. Preacher and Sandman are not connected. Okay. I think Preacher is one of the few Vertigo series that never crossed into DC. Oh, cool. It's a Vertigo. Nice. Well, we're close enough to half an hour, I guess. And I'm having trouble thinking of stuff. And I could bring someone on, but then we'll go for another half an hour or so. And this is meant to be short. This is just me practicing. And my hat's crooked. And yeah, so thank you very much for listening to me rant. And I'll be back next Thursday to bore the tits off you again. So see you then. Oh, hang on. You got a comment here? Get into manga. Go read Chainsaw Man. One day, Duncan. I'll get into manga one day.